So many blue balls on this album. All right, so we just listened through Misery Index's Complete Control, a brand new album. So now we're going to review it. We're going to take turns telling our thoughts, and then we'll take turns giving a rating. So, Jordan, what are your thoughts?
Uh, that was actually pretty good. For like pretty much just straight up death metal, that was surprisingly cohesive. I want to say it definitely there. I didn't see the lyrics. I don't really know the lyrics, but it seemed like there was a little bit of a bleed throughout the whole album. Maybe a little similar themes or something. Maybe, but other than that, like instrument wise, it sounded pretty good. The mix was a little shoddy at the first, like at the first couple songs, but I feel like the production got better later on because I feel like the first couple songs, like they felt a little muddy, like I couldn't really hear the kick all that well, but later on it
Mm-hmm.
seemed like it got better. Um, Also, the album seemed to get better as it went on. I definitely liked the second half a lot more than the first half. They added a lot more like melody and like some like background. I don't know if it was synth or something, maybe like a little bit of light synth, but they added some like textures in the background to really fill it out during like the big parts. Um, the drums sounded pretty good. There was like a couple parts where like the drums were going so fast and so crazy, like it felt like it was like fall apart any second, but then it would like they would lock back in and it sounded like pretty cool. So that definitely gave it more of like a raw feel. It's not like just computerized, everything is like straight to the grid. It kind of
Yeah,
felt like a little more natural, like kind of like older death metal and like older metal and stuff sounds. So that was definitely a plus. Uh the vocals were definitely better than most like just normal death metal bands.
yeah, it wasn't
They had a
the state
mid,
of the
they had a
mid.
low, they had a kind of a high a little bit. It was like a high mid a little bit,
Yeah,
but they definitely kept enough variety where it wasn't too boring. Um, Other than that, plaints, the mix overall was a little bit weak. I feel like the bass guitar could have been like way louder because I'm pretty sure the singer is the bass player. So like since it's just a four piece, you could have probably heightened the bass up to get a little
yeah.
bit.
There were a couple moments where you could really hear the bass in the background, but it wasn't. But it was like just like it was just those moments. It wasn't like the whole
Yeah,
time.
it's like those highlighted moments. But other
Yeah,
than that, for pretty much straight up death metal, it was pretty good. Really reminded me of like later Job for Cowboy,
yeah.
like after Doom.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say it kind of sounds like at least tonally, um, especially like the guitar. It kind of reminds me of like if Unearth went death metal. If you took out Unearth's breakdowns and they just
Yeah.
became a death metal band. Um,
So like third album Unearth.
yeah. You're gonna hate me. We actually saw Tala a couple weeks ago
Like
on the All the
3 weeks
Remains
ago.
tour. Um, yeah. We also reviewed Shadow of Intent last week. I haven't posted the review portion on YouTube yet, but stay tuned for that. So my thoughts, yeah, pretty much, it seemed to parrot a lot. The mid-level vocals, I enjoyed that. I'm one of the things I normally dislike about a lot of death metal, is that a lot of them use a lot of like just guttural, like low, the fucking that not Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey, the Jim Carrey video,
Yeah.
where he just
On
that.
Arsenio Hall.
So I like that he had a little bit more of a mid range. Stayed in there, dipped into the lows, but didn't like stay there a lot. Appreciated that. There was definitely some hardcore, like just like light hardcore influences here and there. Some nice like hardcore riffs. There was actually there's a good amount of two steps in here. They had some like two step, like straight up two step build ups. Gotta love those. And they had the surprising two steps which I love those just as much. You know, when they just like kick in out of nowhere and you get that groove going. So appreciated that. Sadly, zero breakdowns. There was like one like kind of melodic breakdown ish on the last song, or the second to last song. But it's death metal. That's expected. I'm
This is like
just
their seventh album. I feel
yeah.
like their first or second album probably had
There's
some
probably
breakdowns.
some breakdowns somewhere in their discography. That's another one of the reasons I don't listen to a lot of death metal. Is I'm a breakdown kid. I like the breakdowns and swinging my arms and shit. You know, doing the windmills. But even still, without the breakdowns, I think it's still like held up on its own. You know, in my mind, I think it was pretty cohesive. Um, Although, like I said, a lot of those songs ended in a way that like you felt like there was gonna be a breakdown, and then it just next song you're just like, damn it, you know, come on. Um, but yeah, other than that, you know, production, standard, solid production. Definitely, it definitely was pretty clear. For most of the time, like Jordan said, the bass could have had a little bit more prominence. I appreciated the guitar solos and stuff. Those kind of helped break up the fast pace of the album. There was a lot. It was a lot, lot of speed on there. Um,
Yeah, there was surprisingly a lot of melodic parts too.
yeah. My only complaint, as I have with like some, it's one of my things is like how you end an album, and I think that last track, that like last 2 minute track, that was just like it was weird that they put the fastest, like that was like probably the fastest, heaviest like part of the whole album on the last song. I liked the song before it, how it that was the one that was like had the melodic sort of almost breakdown. It had the cool solo with the effects on the guitars. I think that would have been a better way to end the album personally. Um, but still, you know, it's nitpicking. That's just what I do. That's just my preference. I like a nice little closeout instead of just lots of blast beats and then it stops, and that's the end of the album. Um, but that's my thoughts. So rating wise, Jordan.
Um, I'll give that a pretty solid 7.5. It was pretty good. It's definitely better than average. Like B minus, B.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
yeah. Yeah. I'll say a 7 as well. I think it was a 7. Not it was fairly standard for death metal, but also better than a lot of other death metal that I've heard. So again, I
Hmm.
gotta listen to a lot of death metal for reasons, and um, this held up a lot better than other things that I've listened to. So yeah, 7.5. Let's B minus overall. JM said 7 for him, but yeah, overall that was pretty good.
It's
I
pretty
liked it.
solid.
Yeah.
You'll never see the color of the truth.